welcome to lesson 28. We're working on page 77 these 2 weeks and just continuing to study those two notes that you learned in our last lesson, the B and C above middle C. First, you're going to be playing the Bluebells of Scotland, which is a very familiar, beautiful little tune. You're just going to play it with your right hand. And then you're going to be playing a minuet. Now, you might have noticed the minuet, instead of listing a composer, has this very sort of enigmatic attribution from the notebook of Anna Magdalena Bach. So you might wonder, who was Anna Magdalena and what does that mean that it's from her notebook? So I wanted to give you a little bit of the juicy details of Bach's life to kind of augment and uplift your playing of this piece. Well, Bach was born into a very musical family, and he was kind of working his way up the ranks as a composer and as a performer on the harpsichord as well as the organ. And when he was about 21, he got married to his second cousin. Her name was Maria Barbara Bach. She had the same last name. They were related. I guess it wasn't that uncommon in Bach's day. So they got married. They seemed to be happy and content. We're having a lot of children, many, many children. I believe that they had 7, but only 4 lived past infancy. It was very common in Bach's day to lose many of your children. They didn't have the information that we have about personal hygiene, and so she was quite busy taking care of these children and grieving the children that were passing away. And Bach got this great gig working for Prince Leopold, a German prince. He became his Kapellmeister, which means his musical director. And he was composing for him, he was performing for him. They were getting pretty buddy-buddy. Well, Bach decided to go with the prince to this spa for a couple of months. He left his wife for a couple of months with all these children. And when he left, his wife was perfectly fine, perfectly healthy. They said goodbye, and he went off to the spa to just have a gay old time with the prince. And while he was gone, his wife died, leaving him with these children. He had no idea. He came home after the 2-month stay at the spa and was shocked to find out that she died. His heart was broken, and he became very quickly on the prowl for a new wife. He's got all these kids. Somebody's got to help him to raise them. So one day, this young 20-year-old, beautiful, incredibly talented soprano singer came to perform for Prince Leopold. Her name was Anna Magdalena. And Bach was smitten, fell instantly in love with her, and he thought, she's the one. So he's courting her, and she continues to perform. And about 17 months after his first wife died, he married Anna Magdalena. They proceeded to have many, many children, 13 children, as a matter of fact. And of the 13, only 6 of them survived. Now, Anna also was having to take care of his 4 children from his previous marriage, so she was very busy. However, she continued to work as a singer, which is so cool because back then, if your husband said, hey, I want you to stay home and just take care of the kids, that's what you did as a woman. And it was very, very uncommon for a woman to continue to work as a performer after they got married. But Bach was a cool guy. And Anna continued to perform in between taking care of all of these children and having all these children die. And, she must have been incredibly busy. But they seemed to have a good marriage. He was 36 by then, and she was 20 when they got married. And he was already past midlife, so he was much older. But it seemed to be a mutually beneficial marriage for the two of them. So what would happen in those days is just like the way we used to in the old days. If we went to a friend's house and somebody made a dish that we really like, we might say, hey, can I copy down that recipe? And you might just copy it down. You might not even write down whose recipe it was, but you would copy it down. This was before we had cell phones and before we could just take a picture of a recipe or just scan a recipe or just send a digital copy. So we used to write down recipes, right? And they used to do the same thing in Bach's time with music. So if you went to see a performance of a piece and you liked it, you might say, hey, can I copy down your piece? And you might write it down, and you might not even know who wrote this music because maybe somebody else copied it from somebody else. Or if you did know, you might not write down who wrote the piece. It wasn't such a big deal back then to sign your work. You would get paid to write a piece by some sort of benefactor. You'd write it, you'd play it, perform it, you'd get paid for that. And then if somebody wanted it, you'd let them copy it down. Bach bought this beautiful green leather cover, which they called a notebook, where he would give many of his own pieces to his wife, Anna, and she would put them in there, and she might teach those pieces to some of their many children, or she might play those pieces herself. But he would also gather pieces from other people of the day, as she would. So if she saw a piece performed that she liked, she might copy it down, keep it, and then teach it to her child or play it herself one day. So there was a mix of pieces in her notebook, in this notebook that Bach gave her for some kind of either birthday or anniversary. He had it inscribed with her initials. It was very beautiful leather. So we don't really know about the pieces in there. Were they all written by Bach? Or were some written by Anna herself? There was some talk that she wrote the cello suites and that maybe she wrote the aria for something called the Goldberg Variation. She was, after all, a soprano singer. So maybe she had written some of them. That's been disputed, but we don't really know. But a couple of the pieces, including this minuet, which you're going to recognize, I'm sure you've heard that before. So this minuet was in her notebook, but later they found this same piece in somebody else's notebook, and it was at that time ascribed to a composer called Christian Petzold. So now we think that Christian Petzold wrote that minuet and that Anna somehow got hold of it. Somebody copied it for her. Maybe Petzold gave it to Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, and he gave it to her. We're not exactly sure, but we think that Christian Petzold wrote it. But since we're not sure, we can't be 100% sure. We don't have anything where he's actually signed it or anybody's actually verified that he has written the piece. So we just say it came from the notebook of Anna Magdalena Bach. Okay, have a great 2 weeks, and I will see you in lesson 29. Bye.